Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, left us a profound legacy of wisdom in his personal journal, now known as Meditations. This work offers invaluable insights into the human condition and provides practical guidance for living a virtuous and fulfilling life. Let's explore 10 of the most valuable lessons we can glean from Marcus Aurelius' teachings, delving deep into each one to understand their significance and application in our lives. Lesson number 1, the power of perception. Marcus Aurelius firmly believed that our perception shapes our reality. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This teaching is at the core of Stoic philosophy and encourages us to take control of our thoughts and reactions. In our daily lives, we often encounter situations that seem challenging or unfair. Aurelius teaches us that these external events are neutral. It's our interpretation that gives them power over us. By changing our perspective, we can transform our experience of life. For instance, if we face a setback at work, instead of viewing it as a failure, we can choose to see it as an opportunity for growth and learning. This principle extends beyond individual events to our overall outlook on life. Aurelius encourages us to cultivate a mindset of resilience and optimism. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, attitudes, and responses, we can maintain inner peace regardless of external circumstances. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or suppressing emotions, but rather developing the ability to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Practicing this principle requires constant vigilance and self-reflection. Lesson number 2, embrace impermanence. Aurelius frequently contemplated the transient nature of life. He saw change as a fundamental aspect of existence and encouraged embracing it rather than resisting it. "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it," he wrote. This lesson teaches us to accept the inevitability of change and find peace in life's constant flux. Aurelius reminds us that everything, our possessions, relationships, achievements, and even our own lives, is temporary. By accepting this truth, we can learn to appreciate the present moment more fully and let go of our attachments to things beyond our control. Embracing impermanence doesn't mean living without care or commitment. Instead, it allows us to engage more fully with life, knowing that each moment is precious and unrepeatable. It encourages us to focus on what truly matters: our character, our actions, and our relationships, rather than clinging to external circumstances that are bound to change. This perspective can be particularly comforting in times of hardship. When we face loss or difficulty, remembering the impermanent nature of all things can help us maintain perspective and resilience. It reminds us that just as good times don't last forever, neither do challenging times. Lesson number 3, practice gratitude. Gratitude was a cornerstone of Marcus Aurelius's philosophy. He believed in regularly acknowledging the good in our lives, no matter how small. In Meditations, he advises, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This lesson teaches us to shift our focus from what we lack to what we have. In our modern world, it's easy to get caught up in a cycle of wanting more success, more possessions, more recognition. Aurelius reminds us that true contentment comes not from acquiring more, but from appreciating what we already have. Practicing gratitude involves consciously recognizing and appreciating the positive aspects of our lives. This can include simple things like good health, a warm meal, or a beautiful sunset, as well as more significant blessings like loving relationships or meaningful work. By regularly acknowledging these gifts, we can cultivate a sense of abundance and joy in our daily lives. Gratitude also helps us maintain perspective during challenging times. When we face difficulties, focusing on what we're grateful for can provide comfort and strength. It reminds us that even in the midst of struggle, there is still good in our lives. Moreover, gratitude can improve our relationships and overall well-being. When we appreciate others, we're more likely to treat them with kindness and respect. And research has shown that practicing gratitude can lead to increased happiness, better sleep, and even improved physical health. To incorporate this principle into our lives, we can start each day by noting a few things we're grateful for. We can also practice expressing appreciation to others more frequently. Over time, this practice can transform our outlook on life, leading to greater contentment and happiness. Lesson number 4, cultivate virtue. For Marcus Aurelius, living a virtuous life was paramount. He emphasized the importance of justice, wisdom, courage, and self-control. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one, he wrote. This lesson encourages us to focus on our actions and character, striving to embody virtues in our daily lives rather than merely discussing them. Aurelius believed that true fulfillment comes not from external achievements or possessions, but from living in accordance with virtue. Cultivating virtue involves developing our character through consistent practice. It means choosing to act with integrity, even when it's difficult or inconvenient. It involves treating others with kindness and respect, regardless of their status or how they treat us. It means pursuing wisdom through continuous learning and self-reflection. Aurelius reminds us that virtue is its own reward. By living virtuously, we cultivate inner peace and self-respect that are not dependent on external circumstances. This inner strength can sustain us through life's challenges and provide a sense of purpose and direction. Moreover, by focusing on virtue, we contribute positively to our communities and the world at large. Our actions ripple outward, influencing those around us and potentially inspiring others to live more virtuously as well. To practice this principle, we can regularly reflect on our actions and motivations, asking ourselves if we're living up to our highest values. We can set specific goals for cultivating virtues like patience, honesty, or compassion. And we can seek out role models and teachings that inspire us to grow in virtue. Lesson number 5, serve others. Marcus Aurelius believed in the interconnectedness of all human beings and the importance of serving others. He wrote, "What benefits the hive benefits the bee." This teaching reminds us that we are part of a larger community and that our well-being is intimately connected with the well-being of others. By contributing to the good of our community and society, we also enhance our own lives. Serving others can take many forms. It might involve volunteering our time, using our skills to help those in need, or simply being kind and supportive in our daily interactions. Aurelius encourages us to look beyond our individual concerns and consider how we can positively impact those around us. This principle also relates to Aurelius's concept of the common good. He believed that as rational beings, we have a duty to work towards the betterment of society as a whole. This doesn't mean sacrificing our own well-being, but rather recognizing that our true interests are aligned with those of our community. Serving others can bring a sense of purpose and fulfillment to our lives. It can help us develop empathy and compassion, broaden our perspectives, and create meaningful connections with others. Moreover, by focusing on serving others, we can often find relief from our own worries and preoccupations. To practice this principle, we can look for opportunities to help others in our daily lives. This might involve small acts of kindness, like helping a neighbor or supporting a friend in need. We can also seek out volunteer opportunities or ways to use our skills and resources to benefit our communities. By making service a regular part of our lives, we can cultivate a greater sense of connection and purpose. Lesson number 6, practice self-reflection. Self-examination was a crucial practice for Marcus Aurelius. He used his writings as a tool for introspection and self-improvement. Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if thou wilt ever dig, he advised. This lesson encourages us to regularly reflect on our thoughts, actions, and motivations. Aurelius believed that true wisdom and growth come from understanding ourselves deeply. By examining our beliefs, habits, and reactions, we can identify areas for improvement and cultivate greater self-awareness. Self-reflection involves asking ourselves challenging questions. Why do I react this way in certain situations? What are my core values, and am I living in accordance with them? What are my strengths and weaknesses? By engaging in this inner dialogue, we can gain insights that lead to personal growth and more authentic living. Aurelius also emphasized the importance of honest self-assessment. He encouraged acknowledging our faults without harsh self-judgment, seeing them as opportunities for improvement rather than reasons for self-condemnation. This balanced approach allows us to grow while maintaining self-compassion. Lesson number 7, focus on what you can control. A key tenet of Stoic philosophy, and one that Marcus Aurelius often returned to, is the importance of focusing on what is within our control. He wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control." This teaching helps us to direct our energy towards areas where we can make a difference, rather than worrying about things beyond our influence. Aurelius recognized that much of what happens in life is outside our control. Other people's actions, natural events, societal changes. By accepting this, we can free ourselves from unnecessary stress and frustration. The principle of focusing on what we can control doesn't mean becoming passive or indifferent. Instead, it encourages us to clearly distinguish between what we can and cannot influence, and to put our efforts where they can be most effective. We can't control external events, but we can control our responses to them. We can't control other people's opinions, but we can control our own actions and character. This principle is particularly valuable in times of uncertainty or adversity. When faced with challenging situations, asking ourselves, "What aspect of this can I control?" can help us find constructive ways to respond, rather than feeling helpless or overwhelmed. Practicing this principle involves regularly reminding ourselves of the limits of our control. When we catch ourselves worrying about things we can't influence, we can consciously redirect our attention to aspects of the situation we can affect. Over time, this practice can lead to greater peace of mind and more effective action in our lives. Lesson number 8, embrace adversity. Marcus Aurelius viewed challenges and obstacles as opportunities for growth. He famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This perspective encourages us to reframe difficulties as chances to develop our character and skills, rather than seeing them as mere setbacks. Aurelius believed that it's not the events themselves that shape us, but how we respond to them. By facing adversity with courage and wisdom, we can become stronger and more resilient. This principle doesn't mean we should seek out hardship or enjoy suffering. Rather, it's about recognizing that challenges are an inevitable part of life and choosing to approach them as opportunities for learning and growth. When we face obstacles, we can ask ourselves, "What can I learn from this? How can this experience make me stronger or wiser?" Embracing adversity also involves developing mental toughness. Aurelius often reminded himself of the temporary nature of difficulties and the importance of maintaining perspective. By viewing challenges as tests of our character, we can approach them with a sense of purpose and even excitement, rather than dread or despair. Moreover, this principle encourages us to be proactive in the face of obstacles. Instead of passively accepting difficulties or complaining about them, we can look for creative solutions and ways to turn challenges to our advantage. This mindset can lead to innovation and personal growth that might not have occurred in easier circumstances. To practice this principle, we can start by consciously reframing our difficulties as opportunities. When faced with a challenge, we can ask ourselves what virtues or skills we can develop through this experience. We can also reflect on past difficulties we've overcome, reminding ourselves of our capacity for resilience. Lesson number 9, live in the present. The importance of living in the present moment is a recurring theme in meditations. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason, which today arm you against the present." This teaching reminds us to focus on the here and now, rather than worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. Aurelius recognized that the present moment is the only time we truly have. The past is gone, and the future is not yet here. By fully engaging with the present, we can live more authentically and effectively. Living in the present doesn't mean ignoring the future or failing to learn from the past. Instead, it's about giving our full attention to what's happening right now. It means being fully present in our experiences, relationships, and tasks, rather than being distracted by regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. This principle is closely tied to mindfulness, a practice that has gained significant attention in recent years. By cultivating awareness of our present thoughts, feelings, and surroundings, we can reduce stress, improve our focus, and enhance our overall well-being. Aurelius also emphasized the importance of doing each task to the best of our ability, regardless of how small or mundane it might seem. This approach to daily life can bring a sense of purpose and satisfaction to even routine activities. To practice living in the present, we can start by regularly bringing our attention back to the current moment. We can focus on our breath, our physical sensations, or the details of our environment. When we notice our minds wandering to past or future concerns, we can gently redirect our focus to the present. We can also practice giving our full attention to each task we undertake, no matter how simple. Lesson number 10, accept mortality. Finally, Marcus Aurelius frequently contemplated death, not out of morbidity, but as a way to appreciate life more fully. He wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." This lesson encourages us to live authentically and purposefully, knowing that our time is limited. By accepting the reality of our mortality, we can be motivated to make the most of the time we have, rather than putting off our dreams or living inauthentically. Aurelius viewed death as a natural part of life, no more to be feared than birth. He believed that by accepting death, we can free ourselves from many unnecessary fears and anxieties. This acceptance can lead to a greater appreciation for life and a focus on what truly matters. Contemplating mortality can also help us maintain perspective on our daily concerns. Many of the things we worry about or become angry about seem less significant when we consider the brevity of life. This can help us focus on what's truly important: our relationships, our personal growth, and our contributions to the world. Moreover, accepting mortality can encourage us to live more authentically. When we recognize that our time is limited, we may be more inclined to pursue our true passions, express our genuine selves, and prioritize what really matters to us. To practice this principle, we can regularly reflect on the finite nature of life. This doesn't mean dwelling morbidly on death, but rather using the awareness of our mortality as a motivation to live fully and authentically. We can ask ourselves, if I knew my time was limited, which it is, how would I choose to live? What would I prioritize? What legacy would I want to leave? These teachings from Marcus Aurelius offer a roadmap for living a more mindful, purposeful, and virtuous life. By internalizing and applying these lessons, we can cultivate resilience, find greater peace of mind, and contribute positively to the world around us. The wisdom of meditations continues to resonate across the centuries, offering timeless guidance for navigating the complexities of human existence. As we reflect on these profound insights, we're reminded that true wisdom often lies in simplicity. Marcus Aurelius' teachings encourage us to focus on what truly matters: our character, our actions, and our relationships with others. By embracing these principles, we can work towards becoming the best versions of ourselves, finding meaning and contentment in our daily lives. The enduring relevance of Marcus Aurelius' philosophy is a testament to the universal nature of human experiences and the timeless quest for a life well lived. In applying these lessons, we not only enrich our own lives, but also contribute to a more thoughtful, compassionate, and resilient society.